because that's what it's really all about. And that's why at this time in history, why of course they're destroying the monetary system, and all you need to do is read the writings of the occultists. And you can read them at the website for Share International Magazine, which is put out by the Luciferians, or the Emergence newsletter, which we take, put out by the Luciferians, and they will tell you that this financial collapse is going to bring about this one world government, and it'll allow their Christ, who is of course not the Jesus Christ, but it is the new world leader that they've been working for so long. And I don't think most people understand the spiritual element of what's going on. Do you, Bob?
No, I don't think they do at all. I think a very, very small percentage of people, perhaps 10%, look at that approach. And, I came to that conclusion in about 1967, that it very simply was a fight between God and Lucifer, or good and evil. And really that's what it boils down to.
It certainly does, and you hang on there. We'll be right back. Well, this is Dr. Stan, and of course our guest is Bob Chapman, and he was certainly talking about how he came to the conclusion back in 1967 that you could not explain so much of what was going on from a political or financial point of view unless you understand that there is an age-old struggle between good and evil, between God and Satan has his people here working at the highest levels of our financial strata. And if you doubt that, and if you, of course, buy anything from us, can ask for a copy of the pamphlet entitled The Working of the Spiritual Hierarchy. It's put out by the Luciferians, and they will tell you that they have their people planted at every level of government, including financial institutions throughout the world. Once you understand their interest in finance, you begin to understand why this is so important. Usury was accepted in Western civilization as a result of the pleadings of a man named Francis Bacon back in the early 1600s. Francis Bacon was a Rosicrucian and really behind so much of what's going on in America today, and his dream of America becoming the new Atlantis that would lead the world into a new world order. He even wrote a book about the new Atlantis, and that was America, to use our financial and military power to subjugate the entire world, and it's exactly what's going on today. Well, Bob, certainly they were playing games with gold. Gold was up nicely a week before last, and then last week it wasn't doing too well, and boy, sure looks sick today.
Well, I think we have to expect that every weekend they're going to put their forces together, and they're going to decide what they're going to do on Monday. And it usually starts in the matter of gold on the Tokyo Stock Exchange, which is the TOCOM, the Tokyo Commodities Market. And then, of course, we have the first and then second fixings in London. And so it's almost like clockwork. Every Monday, gold goes down. Sometimes it's $6 or $7, and today it was 18 something. And the same with silver. And so they continue to play this game. And at the same time, today, the currencies were all very strong against the dollar, which would usually mean that gold would be strong, when in fact it wasn't. And of course, the working group in financial markets spent a great deal of time today, effort, and money keeping the stock market from going down. The market wasn't happy that Mr. Geithner had not come out with his proposal for the second half of TARP, and also they didn't see the stimulus package passed. They saw more dissension, and so government steps in and holds the market up, and that's essentially what they did. I mean, you can tell by looking at the numbers in the action all day. The Dow was down 10, S&P was up 12, and NASDAQ was down 4. All of them Dow contributed points. And so the song, the refrain, goes on and on and on, and that is, let's manipulate the markets as much as we want.
Well, I think it's so interesting. People should look back to October 3rd. And then Henry Paulson was said, the sky's going to fall, the market's going to collapse. If you don't give me $700 billion, you've got to give me $700 billion. And then, of course, they added $150 billion of bribes for the congressman. They switched 55 votes. And on October 3rd of last year, Henry Paulson got his $700 billion. He couldn't give the money away instead of doing what he promised to do, and that was addressing the home foreclosures and buying up, of course, the collateralized debt obligations, these toxic bonds that had circulated throughout the world. Instead of doing that and trying to stop the situation, he tried to give the money away. Well, the major banks didn't want his money because they weren't having a problem. But he had already told the American people it was a terrible problem. The economy is collapsing. Nobody's buying or selling. It was all a lie. You can go on the internet to the Bank of Minneapolis, the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. They went over the figures and they said he's not telling the truth. You can go to the Select Report, and we have a copy of it. And, of course, it's discussed in great detail by Cliff Kincaid up on his website, or at least his site at newsreviews.com. And read it. Find the Select Report went over the whole period there up until December and said there was no problem. But Henry Paulson had to force the banks to take money, and try as he could, he's only been able to give away $350 million of the $700 million. Why hasn't he gone after trying to do something about the home foreclosures? Because they don't want to solve the problem. When you understand that, so many things make sense. We'll be right back in a moment. Well, this is Dr. Stan back here with Bob Chapman, and certainly, because we hear all sorts of rumors about the price of gold going up, but do you think that it's realistic that it's going to go up now? Or are they going to just keep it down here for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think they know it's going up. Merrill Lynch has called for $1,500 last week. 2 or 3 months ago, we had J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup, I guess it was about 2 months ago, call for $2,000 an ounce. And I think they were trying to put a buffer in there. And then we had Goldman Sachs increase their estimate from $700 an ounce to $1,000 an ounce. So they expect that 1,000 is going to be challenged, and in all likelihood it'll be broken because of the vast physical offtake that's going on in the market. Again, last week, GLD, which is the exchange-traded fund, added 23 tons more. And I don't know what that takes it to, but probably close to 850, 900 tons. And that's about officially the 7th largest holding in the world. And the sale of gold and silver coins and bars have gone bananas all over the world. I mean, usually it's extremely difficult to get coins anywhere in the world. From day to day you might be able to get your order filled, but the premiums are high, and sometimes you have to take what's available. And so gold is going higher. They say so, and we say so as well. How high? It's hard to say, but I think this year we certainly have a shot at 1,700, which is double the old high of 850, and it may be more than that. They're going to try to hold it back as long as they can, but I think they're going to make it go up in increments, and something that they think that they can live with. And as you know, the people who are now in the Treasury were all involved with Robert Rubin and Summers and that whole gang from Goldman Sachs, and they will do their darndest to keep gold moving upward, especially quickly. And so we're going to continue to get evolving higher prices. And that's why I tell people to get involved in gold and silver. Don't try to trade the market.
Okay, hold that thought, Bob. We'll be back in just a moment here. Well, this is Dr. Stan. I guess is Bob Chapman. Our telephone number, if you'd like to call us, is 1-888-24-LIBERTY. 1-888-24-LIBERTY or 464-8295. And Chris, Bob, before we go on, why don't you get your website out there and certainly tell people how they can get in touch with you.